Hello, dear listeners. Welcome to You Are What You Read. If you love our podcast, please hit the subscribe button. This week is a banner week. On this week's episode, we are thrilled to bring you our live conversation with the great Susan Lucci about her new memoir, La Lucci. Really, this is a podcast about work-life balance, how to handle illness, how to deal with grief, and many other wonderful themes. We sat down with Susan at Adelphi University on Long Island for their Writers and Readers Festival. This festival was founded by Alice Hoffman. Here is the great Alice Hoffman to kick off the conversation.
It's so great to be here tonight. I'm so glad that you're all here. I just can't believe I'm back. I feel like, I must be 18 again, which would be great. Anyway, I wanted to just introduce the people that you're really here to see tonight. First of all, I just want to say that our conversation partner is the wonderful best-selling author, Adriana Trigiani. She's the best. Yeah. All right.
Very impressive. Okay.
Thank you for being here. And now,
Whoa.
Nice
soft seat.
I'm going to introduce, pardon me, the star of our show
the
tonight.
star of the night.
And coming from Long Island, I have loved Susan Lucci forever. And I know many of you feel the same way. I used to watch All My Children every day, and if someone had told me that someday I'd be introducing La Lucci at an event, I would not have believed it. As I'm sure everyone here knows, Susan played the unforgettable role of Erica Kane from 1970 to 2011. She is also the New York Times bestselling author of 2 memoirs, All My Life, and her most recent and wonderful book, La Lucci, which explores her journey through love and reinvention and resilience. Besides holding the most nominations for a Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series, which she won in 1999, and I'm sure many of us watched it. I know I did. She is such a versatile performer who's appeared on everything from Dancing with the Stars and Saturday Night Live to Anna Get Your Gun on Broadway. And I hope you've seen this, and if not, you should watch it, in the Apple original film Outcome, which just came out alongside Keanu Reeves, in which she completely, utterly steals the show. And I have to say, it is my pleasure to introduce La Lucci.
La Lucci. Okay, so tonight you get a couple of Italian girls up here. So it's going to be beautiful, and it can't help but be, because Susan, I have to tell you, you're loved and beloved. We feel we know you. I felt I knew you before I met you, and then when I met you, you lived up to everything I thought you would be.
Adriana.
And I met your beautiful husband, who I adored. And then when I read this book, I realized, really this book is a love story, but it's a love story on 2 levels. Sure, it's about your husband and your life with him, this resplendent life with him, and all the things you did together and creating a family and all that. But it's also about the women in your life that shaped you.
Definitely.
Those are your love stories. Mm-hmm. So why don't we start with your mom?
Oh, okay.
She's so beautiful, and she also influenced you in ways that I think great mothers do. Can you talk about her to everybody?
Sure. Oh, I'd be happy to. Yes, and this book gave me the opportunity. In a way, it's a legacy book too, because I got to talk about my husband, who I've been interviewed many times, but he had not been. and so I get to talk about him. And also, I was always very protective of the people in my life because they didn't sign up for this, you know, to be in the public eye and have people knowing about them and so on. But it just was such a pleasure to finally have a chance to do that. My mother talked very straight to me. Very, you know, she gave it to me straight. You know, I talk about in the book, I was maybe 14 in a tennis match. And my mother was in the stands. My parents are always in the stands in the audience if I was doing a play. But she was in the stands and she watched me play. And I thought I did pretty well. I didn't win, but I came very close. And when I saw my mother afterwards, she said, "You look like rigor mortis set in." I thought I was really running down a lot of those balls. But you know what? That talking straight was really good to me, good for me, because then my tennis actually got better, and I ran faster and more. And but I think that's a lot too. People say, "How did it feel, you know, not to win the Emmy all those years?" And the truth is, I would take it to heart and think, okay, what can I do better? Because I wanted to grow, I kept wanting to learn, and so, all right, that's what I'll do. But I do think, with my mother talking so straight to me from the time I was a little girl, that allowed me then to hear things in a good way.
Well, you could handle show business. And could you talk a little bit about that? Because, you know, there's, in any art form, there's layers and people, and, but the actor is really there to tell the story and to please.
To entertain.
To entertain.
Yeah.
To make it all happen. And it starts on the page, as we know.
Yes.
And you worked with the great Agnes Nixon.
I sure did.
I want to hear about her because she's kind of a book in herself, isn't she?
Oh, she sure is. And she wrote a book, too. That's a wonderful story. Agnes Nixon was the creator of All My Children. And when I first met Agnes, I saw her before I met her. I was in the studio on my 5th callback audition on a hot summer day for Erica Kane. It came down to it was between 2 of us, and they were going to put us on tape that day. And I was doing a scene with Mona, played by the fabulous Fra Heflin, my long-suffering Mona, the mother of the very unsensible Erica Kane. And so I was there in the hallway, and the executive producer was telling me, you know, they were getting ready in the control room, and was I okay, and what did I think? And out of the corner of my eye, I saw this petite blonde woman in a cocoa brown Yves Saint Laurent pantsuit and a Giorgio Armani bag. I recognized all this because I loved fashion always, so I would see all the magazines when I was in college, and I was just out of college. And I had never seen a professional woman before. And there she was. She was running into the control room so she could watch the auditions on tape. And Bud Kloss, who was our producer at the time, said, "I see you looking over my shoulder. That's Agnes Nixon." I had no idea. It was my ignorance. I didn't know who Agnes Nixon was, and she had created so many very successful shows. And she's got a great backstory herself as a woman who succeeded in show business. Because I don't think you really know, and maybe this is true of a lot of professions, you don't know what you're getting into until you're smack in the middle of it.
So true.
You know, and you have your dreams and you want to do what you want to do, but a lot, as you said, goes with it.
Yes.
You know, I always feel like it's a molly screw. You put it in the wall and then it all opens up. There are a lot of tentacles.
The soaps were an artful creation, mostly created by women. In all of show business, this was not true. But you had Gloria Monty.
That's right, yes.
Who was also,
General
by
Hospital.
the way, an Italian girl, for anyone who cares. Her name was her name was Gloria Montemuro. And, you know, all the men are credited. And Agnes Nixon, too, she was like that was her taste on the screen.
It was.
She handpicked each and every one of you.
She did, and she also, for the storylines, Agnes Nixon, for those of you who are not as familiar, she was the groundbreaker. She told stories on All My Children that Nighttime hadn't done. Erica Kane had the first legal abortion before Maude. I know it was written that Maude did, but Agnes did. Agnes, we called Agnes a witch, a good witch, because she would write storylines 6 months 2 years ahead of anything you would see on the front page of the New York Times. She just was tuned in.
She had the antenna.
She had the antenna, and she had to fight for them. There were a number of storylines that were so groundbreaking that the networks were very reluctant to put them on the air, but Agnes fought, and Agnes won.
Susan, how important in all the talents that a producer has, you described seeing Agnes for the first time in that pantsuit. She was a beautiful lady. She had taste. How important is taste?
Well, I think it's really important.
Okay, that was God dropping a brick.
Sorry.
Because I asked that question. It's really important. She could see in you the longevity of Erica, even when you were a kid.
Thank you. When I look back, I think how amazing and how lucky I was that I was the character she told a lot of stories through. And Agnes was the first one that put humor in the writing. I had been watching TV my whole life. I really loved TV. I was the first one up in the morning and the last one to go to bed at night, and I'd sneak up and watch. I mean, I really loved it. And movies too. Mother-daughter relationships, before Mona and Erica, mother-daughter relationships were much more like a Hallmark greeting card. First of all, you hardly saw the daughters. You were sent to their room, out of the room, go do your homework. That was about it. But these were real relationships, and they were real. I mean, my audition scene for Erica Kane was an 8-page knockdown, drag-out fight between a 15-year-old Erica Kane and her mother, Mona. Mona trying to get Erica to get ready for her math tutor who was coming over. Erica's way of getting ready was putting her mascara on in the mirror because he was a very cute boy coming over. That's who he was, her math tutor. So it went on from there. But in those 8 pages, to Agnes's credit, you felt the history of the characters, you knew who each character was, and even though that they were fighting, there was love, and you could tell. There was history and there was love. And that's the kind of writing that it always was with her.
It was an ongoing, honest portrayal of women.
It was.
And how they are.
That's true.
How we are. We have to include ourselves in that.
Yeah, my own mother and I would laugh when we'd see the scenes on the air. We would laugh because...
You would have those scenes at home.
Oh, sure. Anybody who's raised a teenage girl, we have a lot of eye rolling going on. We know that.
It's so true. You know, there's something, it's a great national connector, All My Children. Anywhere you go, and I told you in preparation for this, I got so many emails, folks calling me, who just love you.
Oh, thank you.
And I think the greats are always the best. I know it sounds like I'm almost talking out of school, but the bigger the star, the more grace I have found. Do you feel that way?
I did, and I learned that and observed that as I was going along. You know, and I thought the people who make it, probably in any business, are working really hard and giving it their all. That's what I saw. They showed up, they were prepared, they knew their lines, because it's not just you. It's a very collaborative thing, this performance. There's a lighting director and a director, and there are other actors who are depending on your performance. And sometimes on daytime, something that we would say would be a lighting cue that we're not even aware of, or a music cue. And Michael B. Jordan played my stepson on All My Children. And he was 16 when he began. Wow. And he always was prepared, respectful of the company that he had to be part of. And he knew his lines and was ready and did really nice work. And at the time he wanted to be a basketball player, but he was just terrific.
See, and he learned in that environment.
And he talks about
to be
it,
professional.
so
Yes,
nice. Yeah.
To be professional. So it's one thing to play a role, and you do it once in a movie. Year after year, day after day, week after week, Erica Kane walked through the doors, and you worked. The work ethic that was going on there in that studio. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because some people call it a factory, but it's bigger than a factory.
Yeah, it's really anything but a factory, and I can only speak for my experience and all my children, but the other actors I worked with, the company of actors, were often working at Lincoln Center and on Broadway, and Jimmy Mitchell, who played Palmer Cortland, was one of the most urbane men I had ever met, and he danced the original Curly Ballet in Oklahoma.
See?
And you know, one summer day, I was rehearsing for One Touch of Venus, and on my lunch hour, I would run out and rehearse One Touch of Venus, and I was playing the brat fiancé. I guess I was getting typecast, what can I say, but it was a good type, I didn't care, it was okay.
Still fun.
And
Still
when
fun.
I came back, it was a summer day, as I said, and the sets that all my children were all around the perimeter of the studio, which was about the size of a football field. And they were all around the perimeter. So if Jimmy Mitchell had scenes at his mansion next door, it would be next door in sets. I'd be here, he'd be there. We're waiting for the cameras for our scene. And something happened, and one of the cameras broke down. And out of the blue that summer day, Jimmy Mitchell, who danced the original Curly Ballet on Broadway, came over to me and just took me in his arms and started to waltz with me backstage. This is magic.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. And I was thinking at the time, oh my God, I'm dancing with Jimmy Mitchell.
And wasn't there a cast member, one of the ladies who was in the golden age of Hollywood, worked with Orson Welles? You talk about that in the book.
Ruth Warwick, who played Phoebe
Yes.
Tyler, the matriarch
She
of
was
Pine
a
Valley.
heavy hitter.
She was a heavy hitter. She was from the Mercury Theater. She was from the golden age of Hollywood. At the time when I met Ruth, we used to rehearse the show from beginning to end, as if it was like a full-length play a day. It really was in terms of volume of what we were doing. But because we rehearsed it from beginning to end in sequence, we all had to Erica was a very busy character, so I had to sit on my set or on the stage and wait for my next scene. There wasn't enough time to run to hair and makeup or anything. And it was such a pleasure, and again, talk about learning, because Ruth was not shy to talk about men and her life with Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater. And so, you know, lucky me, as a young actress, I got to hear all of this. And I do write about it in the book.
Yeah, this book it's a pleasure. You're going to love it. It is the anecdotes, the stories, and the overarching theme of it really is, to me, what I came away with is how you have a full life on stage and off stage, a full life, however you define it. You clearly wanted a husband and a family, and you wanted to go home at night where things were green, and then you went into this exciting life in the city. It seems pretty perfect to me. Does everybody agree with that? Right? Pretty perfect. You know.
And yet, but no lessons. And I did not set out to teach anybody anything. And Laura Morton, who wrote this book with me, wrote my first book with me too. 15 years ago, I wrote my first memoir. It was called All My Life. Well, in the ensuing 15 years, I realized that that was not all my life. And, but I wanted to write it again with Laura, because I'm not somebody who just jumps up in a conversation and says, oh, I did this or this happened to me or whatever. But she asked questions of me. I loved her process. She asked me questions in such a way that I would tell then what happened. I'm not a writer. I talk about this in the book too. I am a storyteller. And as you said, Adriana, usually through scripts, or through music, through a song and the lyrics and so on. But somehow, after I lost my husband, I would wake up around 2 o'clock in the morning and just things were pouring out of me. And I was not a writer. I had pen and paper next to my side of the bed, but it was generally a to-do list that I was writing in the middle of the night, so I would have that all when I woke up. But I started writing, and Nelson DeMille, the
great Nelson
writer,
DeMille.
Yeah.
The great Nelson
In
DeMille.
fact, I remember being in the audience here with him when he was being interviewed for a book. I can't believe now it's me. But he and his wife Sandy, before she passed away, had been such great friends of ours. And after Helmut passed away, Nelson became the best buddy, and I mean that sincerely, the best buddy I ever could have. And Nelson, out of the blue one day, said to me, you know, you should write another book. He didn't know I was writing in the middle of the night. And then he liked to be out and about, and so did I. And that was a continuity for me, because my life has always been like I've been shot from a cannon and go from one thing to another. And I enjoyed it, and so did he, in his world. And in his world, I got to meet other writers and publishers, and several of them, several very iconic writers and publishers, were also saying to me, you should write another book. So it was kind of like the universe, the stars were aligned,
Yes.
that it was time for me. I was already writing something, and then Laura wanted to do the book with me. And so therefore it was time. It was time for me to write the book. One of the reviewers said that you don't have to know Susan Lucci, you don't have to know anything about her, you don't have to know her work. Just know this is about being a human being, and she's holding grief in one hand and the search for joy again, and hope again, and light again. And that's the human condition. You know, we all have our dreams, and we hope to make them come true and try to make them come true. I'm very lucky. I wanted to be an actress since I can remember. And lucky me, I got to grow up and have those dreams come true. But yes, I wanted to have a personal life too, and I did, and I do. But with Helmut, that was very, very special, and I realized how grateful. The book is driven a lot by gratitude, because I realized that the loss is tremendous. I was lost. I was lost. After the losing
Sure.
Helmut, I was lost. I didn't agree to do anything. I canceled. I didn't even know that I was an actress, even though I'd wanted to be that since can remember. And my mother was very, very generous. I could play in her top drawer, and she had scarves and stuff I could put on and just be any character, and I would sing and dance all over the house. So it's just who I was, but I forgot that that's who I was. And I never thought I'd step on a stage again or in front of a camera. But one thing I had committed to was celebrity autobiography,
Oh my God.
which is celebrities reading from other celebrities' actual autobiographies. And I had done it before. I did it out east. I did it off-Broadway, did it on Broadway. And I had made a commitment to do it. And I thought, maybe this is going to be good for me. Maybe I'm lucky to have my work to go to. Maybe I could do this, and I'll laugh because it's funny, it's fun to do. And Mario Cantone will be there.
That's right.
And I will
he'll
laugh.
make you
This
laugh.
was a revolving cast, and I thought, Mario's going to be there. I will laugh. And it was here. It was on this stage. And that was the first step that I was able to take, and it was so important that I could put, instead of being a puddle on the floor, that I could stand up and put one foot in front of the other. It was challenging. Helmut had always been with me and encouraged me. And but I could hear
He
him in my
was
head.
on your side.
Oh, for sure.
We had a lunch. This is crazy, because I'd written a book called Very Valentine, and we were making the movie of it. And I had written the script. And Larry Sinitsky called me, and he said, let's talk about casting. Well, one of the first names he said was Susan Lucci. I said, I'm dying to work with her. I said, she's the one. So he set up a lunch, and we went to lunch. Now, I was stunned that Helmut was at the lunch, but I was like totally into it, because I like to see married couples that where it works. Because we're all at those dinners where the people are fighting with each other, and you want to leave. None of that with you two. He took such delight in you. I fell in love with him. I said, I love Susan, but I love him. It was that kind of love story. I don't think you can follow that act.
I don't think so.
I mean, I would like it for you, but my mother said at a certain point, men are like used cars. You drive them off the lot and the wheels fall off. My dear mother, may she rest in peace. Yes. It's interesting because you brought this up about your work. Your work, and now you're back in your work, really. Does it help to stay in the moment as an actress when you feel your life has sort of been hijacked by grief?
It helped me. It really helped me. And I saw Agnes go through this too when she lost her husband. It helped her. And yet after a year, she had to take some time off because she felt that she had not grieved. I did it the other way. I did it.
You grieved?
Grieved.
And then you said, I'm ready to go back out in the world again.
Yeah, and it was just one step at a time. But yes, it was definitely a help. And as I said, I did not set out in this book, and I would say to Laura Morton, who was writing with me, no preaching, no teaching, no bumper stickers here in this book. This is, just simply telling my story. I think when we tell our stories to each other, we are connected. And we take what we can from it. It's like reading a novel. You read it, you're involved with the characters, but you're reading on another level too, and filling in with what you need to hear, what you read, and what resonates with you. And that's what I think this book is.
Well, work, it's all here. I felt it was a primer for how to live, how to survive, no preaching, but even though I knew parts of the story, as I was reading, I was always surprised at what happened next.
Oh.
Surprised. Look at Susan, she had a heart problem. Who would guess that? No one would guess it. In fact, you had these little things happen and you went, even you ignored them because you'd been healthy all your life.
I never had a health issue. I know what you're referring to. Out of the blue, my husband and I were waiting to be seated at a restaurant, actually Hendrix in Roslyn. And the waiter took us to the table, and I was feeling it was October, just a little light pressure, and I thought, as most of us women do, oh, it'll go away. And by the time we were seated, it had gone away. And a couple weeks later, another restaurant, the same thing, only this time it was odd because the pressure started in my chest, but it was radiating around my rib cage to my back. And I lied to myself. I said, oh, you probably have a new bra on, and it's too tight. And I knew I didn't. I knew that. And when I went home, I even checked. We tell ourselves fibs, too. Anyway, but a week later, I was shopping for a birthday present for a friend and at the Americana Shopping Center. And I picked it out, and the saleswoman walked away with it to have it wrapped. And then I felt something I couldn't ignore. I felt something, a woman had given an interview, not a celebrity, many years before. I was still living at home. I was watching TV with my dad. And she talked about a woman's symptoms often being different than a man's for a heart attack. And she had had such an experience that an elephant was pressing on her chest. And that's what I was feeling. I was actually at Tory Burch. And I sat down on a little bench that was there, and the manager at the time, who I'd known for a long time, came up behind me and asked, Susan, are you okay? And I said, Marty, I'm just sitting here trying to assess, what's going on. She asked me, I told her about the elephant pressing on my chest. And very calmly, she said, my car's right outside. I can get you to St. Francis, which was just a mile down the road, as many of you probably know. And I'll get you there faster than an ambulance can get here. And it won't cause any attention, won't call any attention to the fact that you're going to the hospital. So I got in the car with Marty, and I called my husband's doctor. He had Dr. Schlafmitz, him as his wonderful cardiologist. And he said, I'll meet you at the ER because your symptoms sound substantial. And I went in, and he did some tests on me. And at that point, Helmut had made a commitment to Nelson's son, James. James was turning 13. And Helmut promised James, Helmut was a really fast driver, a good driver, but very, very fast. I'm sure he terrorized some old women coming the other way. But he had a Ferrari, and James was very into cars. So Helmut promised he would pick him up on his birthday from school. So I said, go, honey, go. And Helmut wanted to do this for James. So Helmut went, our assistant, who's become a friend, stayed with me until Helmut came back. So the doctor did tests in the meantime, and it turned out that I had a 90% blockage in my main artery and a 75% one in the adjacent. Helmet came back. We were all shocked, including the doctor was shocked. Just what you said, you don't look like a heart patient. That can be dangerous because you can have something going on and nobody believes you. I have met so many women who have survived now and had to beg to be seen. Not so with Dr. Schlafmetz. He said, come right in, I'll give you some tests, and he did. So they found this blockage, and he said, I can fix this. We'll go upstairs to the ER. You can either go now, or you, and by now, it was almost 10 o'clock at night. You can go up now, and I'll fix it, or I'll put a couple stents in, or you can come back at 6:30 in the morning, you'll be the first one up. And I said, well, shouldn't I come in at 6:30 in the morning? Your A-team will be all fresh. They'll just be coming in. This will be good. And he said, my A-team is already on the way. And I said, well, shouldn't I go home and get a good night's sleep in my own bed and come back? And he said, I don't think you understand. He said, you could have a heart attack at any moment, and I won't sleep all night. So let's go upstairs. And we did.
Love it.
It was
Love
perfect. And he put 2 stents in, and I was released by noon the next day. I never had any pain. It's just important to listen to your body so you know what's going on. In any case, as I was leaving, the nurses told me that it was really good I came in, because if I hadn't, 99% I would have had the widowmaker. And I know very well, had I been home and not out at Tory Burch, I would have thought, oh, I just need to lay down for a couple of minutes and have a drink of water. And I wouldn't have gotten up, is what they told me. So it was very good to go in, and I'll tell you something else. I knew that a guardian angel was with me that day, probably 2, one on each shoulder. My dad,
Your father, who had a heart issue?
My father had a heart issue, and my mother's mother, my grandmother, who lived with us until she passed away of a heart attack when I was 11. An additional guardian angel was on board, because it turned out that Marty, the manager of Tory Burch, had a degree in nursing. What are the odds? And on the way home, I said to my husband, I cannot keep this good luck for myself. I have to tell about this, because maybe in modern times, if people hear this story, even if it saves one life, a woman who hears it now, maybe it will help her. And I called my publicist from the car and asked her if she could help me get this story out. And not only did she help me, but within a few days, I was on World News Tonight and Good Morning America and everywhere. My doctor in the city said, Susan, you don't have to do this. A lot of people don't talk about it. And I couldn't understand that. I was compelled. I could not keep it for myself. One good thing I learned many good things, but one thing I remember, Dr. Schlafmetz said to me, you'll have, they went in through my groin, and you will have like a little hard nodule, it'll be the size of a pea. Don't worry about it, it's going to dissolve. It's just collagen. I said, collagen? On the inside, this is going to be a good thing.
I laughed out loud when I got there to the collagen thing. I thought that was hysterical. You give, in this book, this is also a beautiful, you outline the health, kind of the issues around the heart that we should pay attention to. Here's the truth, Susan, as women, we've been in pain since we were 11. I mean, really. Since we were 11, we just assume. But you did a great deal of good sharing that with everybody.
I'm really glad I did.
And I think we got to keep sharing it. And one way you can do that, everybody here, is get the book for Mother's Day for somebody. For your aunt that's not married, for your sister who needs it, for the sister that you always argue with about health. You know, she doesn't want to listen to what you have to say. Let Susan Let Susan tell it. She'll take it from Susan. Maybe she won't take it from you.
Well, you know, that I put in information there. That was one thing Agnes said. First thing is to entertain, and the second thing is to inform. So I wanted to write about this so that women who are interested, because a lot of us don't know the symptoms and don't know what to do, and books that helped me. I've made a list in there, so it's handy, and you can look at it if you want to be informed that way. I could not obviously take away the specifics of my experience, but I could take away the takeaways, the umbrella. And so I would say, number one, you know, as women, we take care of our children. My mother said to me, you're the first one who takes your children to the pediatrician. You know, you should go to the doctor.
The minute they cough.
Yes, the minute they cough. So number one, as women, as people, put yourself on your to-do list, number one. Number two, listen to your body. If it's not behaving in a way that is normal for you, pay attention. Number three is call the doctor. Don't be afraid you are going to bother the doctor, because even as I was calling him, I'm thinking, I don't want to take this renowned doctor away from patients who really need him. You know, meanwhile, I could have died of a heart attack, but also be aware of your family history. I mean, foolishly, I don't think I ever told a doctor my family history, that my grandmother had died of a heart attack, that my father on the other side had a situation. So be aware of those things. But number one, put yourself on that list. We're so busy running around. Even on the way to the hospital, I remember thinking, my inside voice is saying, this is your day off. You have things to do. You don't have time for this. So those are the things that I wanted to pass on.
Oh my God, and it's so helpful, so helpful. You have and again, you never preach in this book, and but I had an overwhelming sense that you have a very deep faith.
Oh, yes, I do.
It's deep. And it's not just in the way you deal with loss, it's the way you deal with joy. It's almost equally important. Can you talk a little bit about what you're looking forward to and where you think your faith takes you?
It took me by surprise that my faith was that strong. And thank God it was, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't. I prayed. And I write about this too. You know, in college I would read about Rose Kennedy, for example. She had a lot of loss in her life and how her faith saved her. And I would think to myself, are you kidding? How does that happen? How could that be? You just had all this loss, really? And I just didn't buy it, and until it happened to me. And then I was so grateful that I had somewhere to turn, and it helped me tremendously. I was always grateful. I began my Emmy thank you with thanking God for all the blessings.
Sure.
But I will tell you that I begin and end each day with prayers of gratitude. So grateful to have had this love in my life. I know not everyone has that, and I know how lucky I was, and I knew all along how lucky I was, which means that I don't regret. You know, I always knew that.
There was a teeny weeny Erica Kane twist in your real life love story, because you were engaged to another guy.
Oh yes, there's a
when
reason
you
I
met
played
Helmet.
Erica Kane.
It was such an Erica move to be engaged to, and then this tall, Helmet was so handsome and tall. You know, for an Italian girl, that's very nice. When you, because, you know, because when you see an Italian guy in a car, you get your hopes up, and then he gets out of the car and you know, he's got the face on a Roman coin, he gets out and you're like, oh. But Helmet, he had the face and the long, lean. But what got me about your husband was how he laughed.
Yes.
He laughed from the deepest place inside of him. He thought things were hilarious. I couldn't wait to tell. When Larry said, Susan wants to talk about this, she wants to do it, I was like, oh my God, this is so great. And I had ordered your chair off of QVC, the Pilates chair.
Oh, you did?
Yes. Now, and I told Helmet this, I didn't tell you this. So I ordered it in Caribbean blue
Oh, yes.
because I thought exercise equipment should look pretty.
Yes.
And it came, and my husband had to pull the wire, the coil, to adjust to my height. And I told Helmut this, he said, well, how did it work? And I said, well, I got on the chair, and my husband left the room. And I said, whatever he had done with the coil, I sat on it, and Susan made it look so easy on QVC. She was going like this. I thought, I can do that. So I started to do this, and it projectiled me across the room. I flew out of the chair. My husband heard me land,
Thank
came
heavens.
running. What happened? And I said, I just projectiled off the Susan Lucci chair. I don't know. And Helmut said to me, it happened to me, where he tried the chair and it kind of bounced him out, because we're not her. But still have it. I still use. I loved it. No, but it was like, that chair is really good. Pilates chair, isn't it?
Yeah, it's based on Joseph Pilates' Wonder Chair from the 20s, which was meant to be portable, but if we see it now, it's wood and steel, so not really portable. The chair that Adriana's referring to, it looks like Gucci got a hold of it.
Oh,
so
it's so
very sleek.
I ordered it because it was so beautiful.
Yes.
And then you just made it look easy. Oh, but anyway, we had a good howl over that one. But the idea here, and just, before we let you go, it seems to me, having read the book and loved the book and sharing the book with everybody I know, you didn't mean to teach us something, but you kind of coax us. And one of the things is that when the worst things happen to you, eventually you're going to want to find a place to go. And maybe that's work, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to want to have that thing that you do. And it seems to me you have not stopped dreaming in regards to what you want to accomplish. Mm-hmm. This book goes, you go out like this. You feel like, oh, I've got to, you just said put yourself first, but is this
Well, put
true?
yourself on your to-do list.
Put yourself on your to-do list. But what is it you're dreaming of now?
Well, again, I feel so lucky. The response to the book from both the press and the public has been more than I ever could have imagined. Right out of the gate, the New York Times bestseller list and #1 on Amazon and 5-star reviews, which means so much to me because those reviews come from people who have read the book, and 5 stars is a big deal. So USA Today, People Magazine, all of it. It's been amazing. And for that, I'm so, so grateful. And now, the movie that my second step was saying yes to Jonah Hill to be in his new movie on Apple TV. I read that when he sent me the script, I had just come past the most raw state. I was just at a place where I thought, okay, I'm going to keep going because I have this gift of life, and I'm not going to thumb my nose at this gift of life that I've been given, but I just have to find out how. Anyway, he sent me the script. I didn't think that I could go to that place of rawness again, which I thought I needed to do in order to play this scene between this character and Keanu Reeves, who I would be working with. And so originally I thought, I can't do this and tell them I'm very grateful, and it's Jonah Hill, and it was Keanu Reeves, and I'm really thrilled, but I just don't think I can do it. Well, I went to bed that night, but I never slept because I just couldn't help myself. I started working on that part. I was lying there thinking, oh, yes, yes. And it was a challenge, and I'm saying the lines. It's like the lines I just memorized instantly. And so the next morning I woke up and called my publicist and said, please don't tell them I'm not going to do it. I'm going to give it another chance. I'm going to read it now in the light of day. And I did. And I recognized that I wanted to take that challenge. That's another thing. There's a chapter in my book called Aging with Audacity, because I never believed in aging gracefully.
No.
Gracefully means you just go, sit down and go, oh yeah, well now, here we are. No. So anyway, I read the script and I called back and said, I think I really want to do this. And then Jonah called me. and he wrote it. It's called Outcome. It's on Apple
Okay, well, we're
TV
not gonna
just
miss
now.
it.
The premiere was last Monday night, and they started showing it on Apple worldwide starting Friday night. Anyway, it was also just the most wonderful decision I could make. And after Jonah called and we talked and I said I was going to do it, I mean, all alone in my room, I was just so glad that I made that decision.
Incredible.
Yeah, to say yes instead of no. And I also knew that I didn't want to wake up someday and see some other actress take that challenge.
That's right. That's right. And you should, and everybody here should know, you really read the script, like the writing, which is why this book is so beautifully written. Your other memoir was too. This is beautifully written.
Thank you.
It unfolds, it unspools so beautifully. But the same thing is true of a script. If you don't connect to it, you won't do it, will you?
No, I'd rather not. I usually can't get past page 11. You know, it's like, oh, okay. But when you do, I mean, you can do it if you really have to do it. You can do it. But when a script is great, like Agnes's script or like Jonah Hill's writing, I was just, then you can fly, you know, then it's all there.
Then it's all great. Well, Susan Lucci is a triumph. Bestseller.
Thank you.
Everywhere. And you deserve every wonderful thing.
Oh, thank
You've put
you.
it out there for us. We spent years with you. We feel we know you. We feel, listen, Erica Kane, you know, she was the person who started, does a character have to be likable always? No, I'm not, are you? No, I don't think so. I think we all have a little Erica Kane in
I
us.
think we all have a little Erica
I
Kane
think
in us.
we do, and we'd be very wise to keep her there.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
Sometimes
absolutely.
we have to keep her in, but
That's
we
right,
have
a
to let her
little
out
bit.
sometimes too.
Well, you know, the marriages.
Actually, Helmut took the picture on the back cover. Helmut took that. Talk about letting it out. That was taken during COVID. We were just setting up a shot because you see I have a bathrobe on and earrings, but that's because I was getting ready to put on some gowns and just twirl and just run around. And he was the photographer. He became the set decorator. You know, during COVID, we all wore a lot of different hats. But yeah.
I have a
That's the
theory.
Erica Kane.
I have a theory that if a man really loves you, he takes great pictures of you. And I think that's what you look like sitting here. Don't you agree? Well, have you got your books yet? You're getting them now? Yeah. But that's really you.
That's really me.
That's really you. Now, this is gorgeous and sexy.
Thank you.
But, you know, we expect that.
That became Helmut's favorite jacket. You can see it's cut down to my... And every Saturday we'd go out to
God
with friends.
love Helmut.
Oh, yeah, with friends. And I'd say, oh, I just don't know what to wear. And he said, why don't you wear that little black jacket? And I'd say, honey, I cannot sit across the table with our friends all night with this jacket. You know, it's not going to work.
Isn't that great? But here, you're looking at him, and it just shows he captured you, and how much you loved him.
I did.
Which is
Absolutely.
really-
It doesn't go away just because, you know, you say till death do you part. Well, it just doesn't stop, you know. And I'm
Don't you
very
think
lucky.
this is just a veil, and he's just on the other side of that veil?
Oh, I hope that's true.
Oh, I think so.
Yes,
You
I-
have to spend more time with me.
Yes, I do.
No, I really believe it.
No,
And I really
getting to
have
that
seen
place.
evidence of it.
Oh.
So come sit by me.
Evidence of it is a really good
Yeah,
thing. I don't
evidence
know-
of it is important.
You know, I have a very strong faith. I asked the Monsignor who did all of my husband's services a big jolly presence. When this happened, I said to my son, we need Monsignor Vlon, big jolly presence to come in our lives now. And he did. And afterwards, I had lunch with him and I asked him, do you believe in the afterlife? Do you believe I'm really going to see Helmut again? And he said, just didn't even take a breath. He said, of course, absolutely. And asking this man of, you know, faith, of course I
seen
knew
it
he was
all.
going to say that. But I said, I mean, really see him? he's not just going to turn into ether, because I just want to put my arms around him. And he said, oh, yes, absolutely, because that's the gift that we're given. We shall know them, and they shall know us. And I read a lot the first couple of years. Oh my gosh, did I read everything. And even little children who have no way to know life after death or not, but if they have a near-death experience, they come back and they'll say, I saw my daddy and he had on a blue tie and a blah, 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 and they don't even know anything about this. So, out of the mouths of babes, right? Yeah.
You know, believing it will make that veil. He'll be right there for you.
Oh,
He's right there.
That's what I
Are you here right now, hon? But we want that for you. We want it for everybody.
Yes.
We want that.
Yes.
We want that love. You know, La Lucci, the title came from Regis Philbin.
Yes and no. It started at All My Children, and I write about this too, about the title.
Yes.
At the very beginning of my career, at All My Children, suddenly, you know, a couple of the producers and directors would say, La Lucci to the set, La Lucci come to, just once in a while. And Regis didn't know that, but the first time I went to do Regis Philbin's show, he called me La Lucci, and he's certainly the one who made it public.
Yeah.
So, you know, truck drivers go by and say, hey, La Lucci, you know, and it's adorable. And he told me that actually in Italy, you would know this, that they call Sophia Loren La Loren.
Yeah.
So once he told me that especially, I mean, like, okay, I'm in, you know,
Yes.
this is great.
You'll be happy to be La
Yes.
Lucci. And what a perfect title for it, too.
Oh, thank you.
Because it encapsulates, you know, it brings everything full circle. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot thank you enough for coming tonight. I mean, is she just a special person all the way around? Thank you, Susan Lucci.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Adriana.